While the race for state superintendent is rated a toss-up, the gubernatorial race is seen as Mary Fallin's to lose. The three challengers hoping to unseat Fallin include Democratic candidate Joe Dorman and independents Richard Prodzinski and Kimberly Willis. While most analysts predict Governor Fallin will easily win re-election, one poll shows the race is tightening.
It's looking better and better.
When Joe Dorman entered the race for governor, few political pundits gave him much chance of unseating Mary Fallin. A survey by Sooner Poll at the end of August illustrated the point, with 50% of likely voters favoring the incumbent, while only 32% supported her Democratic opponent. 1 month later, Fallin's support was still close to 50%, but about 36% of likely voters said they would pick Dorman. Pollster Bill Shepard says while the numbers still favor the governor, they do suggest a weakness in her campaign.
For example, if you take a look at Jim Inhofe or you take a look at James Lankford, who's not even a sitting senator at this point, they have 28-point leads on their opponents. It's another 10 points better than Mary Fallin is doing against Joe Dorman.
Bill Clinton and I both aged while he was in office.
Ben Odom is a former vice chair of the state Democratic Party. Odom believes with Fallin's poll numbers hovering around 50%, the governor has reason for concern.
Historically, anytime an incumbent is at 50 or below, they've got issues, they've got some trouble. If they get into the low 40s, they really have issues or trouble.
Republican pollster Pat McFerrin disagrees, pointing to other races across the country involving incumbents.
20 years ago, the claim if an incumbent was below 50, that was going to be a concern. That's simply not the issue today. If you look at the gubernatorial races across the country, there are very few governors polling over 50%. Nobody expects them to be defeated or not reelected.
Liberal Joe, time for you to drive right on out of Oklahoma.
With the numbers possibly tightening up, the campaign ads have taken a more aggressive stance. A recent ad by the Fallin campaign compares Dorman to President Barack Obama.
Joe Dorman, he's so much like Obama. Why would we ever want him as governor?
There's no more divisive political figure in our country than President Obama. It's a love-hate relationship, and in Oklahoma, twice as many strongly dislike him, if not hate him, than love him. And so that's a dynamic that most of the Republicans would want to have this race decided upon.
On education, Mary Fallin is out of touch.
Dorman is countered with ads picturing the governor alongside Janet Barrett, who finished third in the Republican primary for State Superintendent of Public Instruction.
And she is someone that was part of the governor's, entourage and what they were trying to do up there. And I think that people can make that's a lot more fair link because it's in-state, they know each other well, all that, than Joe Dorman and Barack Obama, who I don't even know if they've ever even met each other.
McFerrin believes the governor's strength lies with the economy.
Governor Fallin really has a proven track record on job development that I think she's going to want to run on and continue to run on and have people make the decision on that basis. Dorman is going to try to do everything he can to make this on education issues where Democrats traditionally have an advantage.
We're very fortunate in Oklahoma right now to have an extremely robust, strong economy.
Odom argues the governor is taking too much credit for Oklahoma's economic performance.
Job creation happened on her watch, but if it happened on her watch, why didn't it also happen on Barack Obama's watch? I mean, he's in office too while they're being created. So I think when you look at it, the public at the end of the day realizes that who actually created jobs is not necessarily a function of who's in the governor's office.
Shepard believes Dorman will continue to gain ground on Fallin as undecided voters typically break for the challenger in the final days of the campaign. But he says Dorman will still need to pick up more Republican support to have a realistic shot of winning.
I think he's getting that from some disenfranchised Republicans over education, over the Janet Barrett and Common Core issue. But the question remains, will he be able to get that portion? Will they come home to Mary Fallin? Will they hold their nose and vote for Mary Fallin? Or have they completely abandoned her?
Shepard believes the biggest impact of the closely fought governor's race will be felt down ticket as fewer voters cast straight party ballots, unlike in 2010, which saw a Republican sweep of all statewide elected offices.